Hello students, welcome back. This is Dr. Davidson again. So now we're going to continue with part 3 of lesson planning, the lesson plan assistant. So we've decided what we're going to teach, we've decided what the students are going to do, and we've decided how we're going to measure it. So now let me show you in general what you'll need to do in order to continue filling out the lesson planning assistant. So now it's going to ask you what requisite knowledge the students have to know. In this particular case, you may be introducing a lesson where they don't need to have any requisite knowledge. Maybe they just need to be able to write and complete sentences. Other times they're going to need to know certain things. And so whatever it is they may need to know ahead in order to make this a successful lesson, we just want you to write this down because it's important for you to thought about what is it that the students need to come to the lesson with in order for this lesson to be successful. And then you can assess, do they actually have that? If they have it, then great, you can go ahead and continue with the lesson. If they don't have it, then you know you have to back up a little further and to create the environment, give them that requisite knowledge so they'll be able to move forward. So since I know this will probably be a mapping activity, I may need to write something down like the students need to be familiar with the map of California. And that could just mean that they need to know that California looks like what it looks like. And perhaps they need to also know mapping skills. They may or may not need to know that. It all depends on what I'm doing with the lesson. But let's say in this particular lesson, I want them to also understand general mapping skills, and I want them to also be able to at least identify the state of California on a map. And they should already know that. So I'm taking that into account as I develop this lesson. So I'm going to save those changes. Then here I write down any vocabulary that may be new for the students or that I'm going to focus on in the lesson. And vocabulary is very important. So here I've got some vocabulary. I know that they're going to be doing landform, vegetation, and climate. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut and paste this down here. These are the vocabulary words that I know that they're going to have to know. There may be other vocabulary words that I want to add, but for our purposes, this is the vocabulary. If you're doing a spelling test, that you have to write down the vocabulary here. So you go through and you decide what is it that they'll need to access. Then you will come down here to, classroom management. Now, in classroom management, what you're going to be doing initially, your students are going to be getting direct instruction. So the management of the classroom may very well be that the students are sitting in their desks, or the students will be seated at the rug, or the students will be in their learning circle. So for this, we're just going to say the students will be seated at their desk. At their desks. Okay, just to give you an idea of what that would look like. So we're going to save those changes. And now we're going to come down here for the model of instruction. For your model of instruction, initially it will direct you to do direct instruction. So for this one, you'll just write direct instruction. As you get further and further into the program, you will have more latitude with that, but right now we're going to go with the basics. Then you want to write down any materials that you're going to need in order to make this work. So let's say I'm going to use an atlas, map, markers, paper, pencil, overhead projector or LCD projector, I don't know, an LCD projector and a tape recorder. And I'm going to use a tape recorder because maybe I have a hearing impaired student or something in class, or I want them to hear the waterfall or something. Now, technology. This is really important. I know you saw that we had technology standards, but this is important regardless of the standards, because we want you to begin to investigate the world of possibilities with technology that's out there that you can use as a tool in your classroom. So here, what we want you to do is you can either put a link, you can check a box, like here it'll say what is it that you might be using, and you can say, well, I'm going to be going online, I'm going to be using this browser, I'm going to be using Excel spreadsheet, I'm going to be doing a simulation, an audio, and a digital camera. I mean, it all depends on what your lesson's going to be. You don't have to use all those, but I'm just going to say that we're going to be doing browser and a spreadsheet. Now that's fine. You can go ahead and say that that's what you're going to use. Okay, but now underneath it, you have to explain how are you applying this. So in this particular case, let's say I'm going to use the browser for students to view pictures of the landforms for discussion. And for the spreadsheet, I'm going to connect this to an online real-time assessment program. Okay. And then I'm going to say save. Okay. If you have gone out onto the web and you found a link that you like, then all you have to do is add the link here. So maybe you went to the Smithsonian and you found some landform images that you want to use there. You add the link, and once you've added the link, that's fine. So you just go ahead and you add the link and you're done editing. But then you have to explain how are you going to use it here. Okay? So now we're going to get into the templates for writing up the lesson. And I'm going to save that for the last of the series on lesson planning assistance. So I'm going to stop this one because I don't want this one to go too long. And then I'm going to show you and demonstrate for you how you can go about filling in the direct instruction portion of lesson planning. So thank you very much, and I will be looking at you in the next little video. Thanks.